Hey everyone, it's Neflarian with another Familiars video in Melvin's Genesis down, World Boss Tier 12 down, and the 9th raid. Again, I'm not going to go over every familiar, but more so just the ones you might want to keep an eye on when you're in that tier, and I will only mention ones that can be obtained from within that tier. So even if a familiar schematic is available or some of the parts are, I'm not going to go deep into that familiar until you can actually make them. I'm also not going to be talking about invasion or expedition familiars. If you missed any of my other videos, check them out as those familiars will carry you through this tier as well. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in with familiars found in Tier 12. In Tier 12, we got another world boss, Ignited Abyss. So, let's go ahead and get started with those juicy raid familiars, which all cost quite a few materials. First up is Ukalis, a really fun little DPS familiar. He has extra damage, built-in dual strike, and a good set of skills. He hits hard, and he hits often. His biggest downside is that we start really looking at elemental amplifiers right around this tier, and he doesn't have any, so he falls off pretty quickly from there. I still make quite a few of them, and they will carry you through a good chunk of content without any. Feodebius is a really good bait option if you didn't make Glarsdos a few tiers back. They have very low health, a good amount of damage reduction, and also some damage and rage, so their skills will be beefier. They do only sustain themselves, so that's kind of a downside compared to another bait, but they are still good at what they do. That other bait is Oladus. At 0 SP, they have spread heals and spread shields as skills. They're going to make sure your entire team gets extra healing as needed. Their big downside, or upside depending on your inventory, is their bonus. They have a little bit of damage reduction, but they're an evade bait. To make them good, you need to have evade pumps on them. If you do, the evade will actually be more helpful than damage reduction. Once you have your evade pumps, I wholeheartedly recommend Oladus as a bait. The mythic familiar from this raid is Frestir. At the time of release, they were the best healer to get, but have since been outclassed by other healers. That doesn't mean to sleep on them though. They have a great mix of built-in bonuses, good stats, phenomenal skills to sustain your team, including one skill that'll resurrect a teammate. They're pretty expensive, as all mythics are, but if you make the other familiars here and then outgrow them, I would definitely consider making Frestir by using those as ingredients. Most of the familiars in this tier are located in the Ignited Abyss world boss, starting with Ignitia. As usual, keep in mind the sheer cost of these familiars thanks to needing fusion materials. Ignitia is a pretty decent DPS, and they have Combust in their skills so you can dish out mega damage. Unfortunately, they have really low stamina, so you're going to have a hard time finding any bait familiar to use with. They're using a couple really good fusions though, so go ahead and make them. Humurum is one of those fusions, and a better version of Ignitia. They have better stat spread, better bonuses, especially because of the crit chance, and their skills aren't too bad either. The Combust skill requires 2 SP to use, but that isn't too hard to get with a DPS. The biggest downside is that you would be using your Ignitia for them instead of a much better DPS in a couple tiers. Pelengy is a pretty decent healer, with that spread shield 2x skill they have. Having it go twice lets you hone in on evening out your team's shields instead of one taking off above the rest. They can also cleanse a target teammate, which becomes really helpful in these later tiers. Their biggest downside again though is just like Humurum, they take your Ignitia to make when there's a much better option in a couple of tiers. If you are staying in tier 12 though, make them, otherwise I'd consider skipping them. If you do make Humurum and Pelengy, they are both used in the mythic fusion Zordongon. This familiar is a DPS mythic that has a 20% chance to gain a full SP per turn, so they can potentially start using their big skills really early on in battle. In my opinion, they have slightly too much attack strength, but it all evens out over the course of a battle. Zordongon also gives you access to Combust with a 0 SP skill, and also some drain skills, and their 4 SP is a mega nuke skill. It attacks and combusts the closest enemy 3 times. When you combust the same enemy 3 times, it will explode and deal out all of that damage again. So it ends up doing 6 times or more of the normal damage if every single hit lands. They are very strong. If you happen to make those other 2 familiars already, you only need to make some of an epic familiar to make him, and would definitely be worth your time if you find yourself in that position. Those are the familiars that I wanted to mention from tier 12. We got some really great familiars, and the building blocks for some even better ones. Is there a familiar you think that I skipped over that should have been included? Which are your favorite familiars? Let me know in the comments below, and good luck on your grind for the best familiars. If you want to discuss this video, my past videos, and suggest future ones, check out my Discord, linked in the description down below. You'll find a helpful and hyped community and get all of the news regarding your favorite games. Big giveaways and events hosted for the Bitverse will be mentioned there, so with any luck you can win things like XXL packs or Ultra Cores. By being a part of my community, you won't ever miss a chance to enter those, and there will even be exclusive giveaways occasionally for members of my community. I hope to see you there, and thanks for hanging out today. If you want to support me in getting better equipment or making more videos, check out the link on my channel, and don't forget to like this video if you like it, dislike if you dislike it, subscribe if you want more, and I will see you in the next video.